it was kind of very, to have a kind of a purity and simplicity about it. And I'm pleased with the way it looks, very pleased with the way it looks. It's very white.
Maybe show it to the camera. It is very white.
And it's all kind of reflecting a kind of an empty canvas, really, in which maybe people can put their own lives into the albums or think about, there's not much distraction on it. There's not much, it doesn't wear a frilly skirt or a loud shirt. It is just you in black and white, and then lots of white paper and plastic.
Yeah, the lyrics have a lot of space around them. I think it kind of represents what we do with the songs as well, because sometimes the silence is just as important as the noise. And I guess we wanted the purity element and the space feels really important.
I feel also the purity was a kind of respect for the loss of your mum. It would have been wrong to paint it, to do a black album, that would be so ugly. But she was white and pure and wonderful, and I think that's kind of, the whiteness is something to do with her.
Is it dedicated to her?
Yes,
it is dedicated.
I imagine it would be, was it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's a little micro story of how the album came to be and what it means. And there's a little quote there from a guy called Alan Watts.
And even the cover was kind of, not to get too doom and gloom, but the veil is almost like the veil between, here and there, and so yeah, it is quite. It is very mum orientated, even to the fact that I'm wearing her wedding ring. But it is like the veil now, seeing life a little bit differently.
But it's also a wedding veil, the beginning of a new life as well. It's got
exactly,
and the wedding ring, of course.
But is it the veil of a bride, or is it the veil over a coffin?
It's the veil of someone whose life is changing at that
Exactly.
moment, and
It's a threshold.
They're actually preparing for the change. It's a deep breath before something that is now inevitable.
Yes, exactly. Well, it says here, track number 1 is called Anycore. What would I like to say about Anycore? I can remember it being written vividly. I remember the place it was written. I remember where we were parked outside. I remember the whole, I don't really usually remember these physical bits and pieces, but that one I do.
Yeah, I mean, that is somebody leaving and almost allowing them to go as well. It's like somebody becoming, I guess, my mum in this case, almost becoming a child again, and you have to let them go. Like the final lyric is, your hand's getting cold, time that we go home. Drown me out. Well, I guess this is kind of like the angry song. This was written probably about 2 years ago. And again, it's like the conflicting, like when you feel like you're self-critic or whatever, or your emotions are just too much and it feels like it stifles you and suffocates you, and it's almost like the fighting out of it. But yes, that's what that is to me.
Okay.
What is it to you?
That's got quite an interesting structure musically as well.
Yes, that is.
Yeah. I mean, I like this song to play. It's one of my favourite ones to play.
It's a good. There's a bit of anger to the the percussion as well.
The thing I like, the thing that I personally enjoy about it is I'm playing the percussion most of the time, and then it clicks from percussion into the chorus to piano, and I'm not really much of a piano player at all. I'm not even anything of a piano player. But I really like that contradiction between the aggression of the drums and then the delicacy of the. I think it's and then going back to the percussion again. It kind of has my mood swings, that song for me, and I like both of the moods.
Yes, I remember somebody coming along to the gig a couple of weeks ago in Sheffield, and he was like, I can hear John Carpenter and Mike Oldfield in what you do, and I thought, I like great. That. Yeah, I like, especially, I mean, I like Mike Oldfield obviously, but I do like John Carpenter as well. I am a secret horror fan. But yeah, I mean, the production on that is kind of, it is quite a big production, and
What's happening at the end of it, the climax of it, I think is great. I really enjoyed putting the orchestra on the end, and it like almost just appears through the mist. You can't even see it coming until it goes at the end. It's great, that kind of ending. I think I'm really happy with all the production of all these songs. We've had so much fun, and we really enjoyed making this album.
Yeah, we felt very free.
Yeah,
I think that one of the best things about the production is it could easily get muddy because a lot of the instrumental playing is pretty ambitious, but the way everything's been spaced makes sure that it never overloads. And of course that'll come from your experience of having to arrange it live, but it stands out on this album as opposed to previous ones that it's just right, this is the way it should sound. These songs should sound like this.
Wolves.
So yeah, like I was talking about before, this is kind of like, I think the most primal track on the album. It feels like it is the running away from normal life and just letting yourself be and feel whatever you feel and just let it go, and just if you feel like crying or screaming or running off to a field, just do it. It feels like that kind of, it's almost like a bit fantasy, obviously, because we're never going to be wolves.
I love that song. I love playing it every night. I love the emptiness of it. I love it that there's a lot of space around all the notes. There's not too much, decoration on it really. It's very similar, I think, on the album to how we play it live. And I think one of the good things about this album is we've not reinvented the songs to put them on the album. We've just kind of been very kind of careful and a bit precious about how we've added extra layers or extra elements, but I hope we've not let anything get in the way of the essence of the songs. I think this one is very essential to its original spirit. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, in the studio, it obviously gives you more freedom to do more with vocals and things.
And the temptation.
Yes,
to
I think
elaborate things.
Yeah, I think we've learned a lot from Roses that. We did find, I'm still really pleased with Diving for Roses, but we did find in the process of recording it quite often, we'd end up going back to those tracks and taking loads out. And we're like, we've overdone it. But I think on this one, we haven't done that with a single one because we haven't overdone a single one. So I think we've learned in the process that sometimes less is better. And I think Wolves is that, it is basically what we play live, plus a few extra vocals and some French horns, which are one of my favourite bits on the album. But yeah, it's kept its purity, which I'm really pleased about.
Yeah, the French horns are great. I mean, I like using instruments like that, and
it's just an atmosphere, isn't it, that it gives to it?
It's such a human thing, a French horn, isn't it? It's just a human singing voice. It's just such sadness.
And also, of course, horns tend to represent loneliness as well.
They feel lonely, don't they?
The French horn part on there, I think, is extremely lonely, and it's meant to be, of course, extremely sad, and it's great that an instrument can speak so fluently about an emotion that you can hardly describe.
All of me sort of evolved quite a lot on the album, actually. I really enjoyed creating that track, but it's a track that is talking about almost giving too much of yourself to people and situations and not leaving enough for yourself, almost like you allow other people to just have access to everything, and you will do everything for other people, and you realise, actually I've not got any energy left for myself here. So it is about, yes, it's good to be in love and love people, but you have to replenish yourself first. So I guess it is sort of like the darker side of that.
But I mean, I've never asked this before. Is that about a relationship?
It's about relationships. It's about, in general, just giving so much of yourself.
Okay.
I wondered that. That's interesting. It sounded like almost specific, but actually it's specific. It's your relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
That's the specific,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
It's like a habit that you do quite...
Yeah.
Well, that I probably do quite often. Self-care is so important, and I'm learning that more and more, obviously, at the moment, but yes,
do you
very much
feel
so.
you allow people to take too much of it?
Yes, or, well, I don't know if people take too much. I often give too much.
But are you giving or they're taking?
Well, both, but it's not. I don't blame anybody else.
Sounds like you do.
No.
Sounds like you're actually angry with someone for extracting too much of your time.
No, because
yourself.
You can't blame anybody else for that, because you have to be your own. Nobody else can take more than you're willing to give.
But it sounds like someone's knocking on the shop where the close sign is on, and you open the door for them.
No, not necessarily. Sometimes it is just about just giving, and realising that sometimes it's okay to be the quiet one and not keep the conversation going and say, no, I'm not going to do that today. I'm still learning to say no. I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm
I'm learning loads here. This is great.
I am.
Now then. Go on. We had a last minute kind of disagreement on the lyrics here, didn't we? Do you remember?
I do remember, but I don't think it's that relevant to the essence of the song.
I do.
All right,
I do.
okay.
I really do.
What was the disagreement about?
It was just a few words on the chorus, but I think they are quite essential. What were your original lyrics were? On
I can't remember now. I can't remember now. We haven't even played it live, so I
we
can't
did
remember.
once ever. Yeah. I wanted this to be a kind of a real anthem for the individual. You know, you are an individual. Everybody is an individual. We're totally unique. Don't try and be the same as anybody else. You know, celebrate and really glorify the uniqueness of what you are. And I think, you know, we kind of define ourselves by kind of things that we kind of things that we're not, or these days, you know, I'm either a Muslim or I'm a Christian, you know, I'm either gay or I'm straight, I'm female or I'm male, or you know, I live in Wigan or I live in Bolton, or you know, we try to create kind of little cells around ourselves and exclude people and exclude everything else. So we want to be a cellular thing, but there is really this I am thing, you know. I know who I am, what I am, and I know what I am. I am myself, and all the way I was created, and everything that's gone into my life, everything that I am in this moment in time is me. And it's not to the exclusion of everyone else. It's just that, you know, you're a beautiful individual. I'm a beautiful individual. Everyone is a beautiful kind of unique individual. I think that's great. But we should be really glorifying that individuality instead of kind of worrying about what we're not, and then, you know,
yes, and
fighting against other things that are not quite the same as us. There's only two, for me, there's only two things that kind of characterise humanity. You're either a lover or a hater, and we're all kind of a bit of each. And I feel, you know, the only thing that really is worthwhile in defining yourself as is how much you love and how much you hate. And if you can turn off the hate switch and turn on the love switch, everything's going to be okay.
Back to earth.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, this is, I guess this is the realisation that maybe somebody that you loved a lot doesn't feel as fully about it as you do, and so the falling back to earth part is okay, this isn't going to happen. This is, you know, I'm going to be okay, but you said it wouldn't hurt, kind of thing, you know, like when people do love you, they're like, I'll never hurt you, but they do, even though they don't necessarily mean to. And that's that song, basically, even dressed as a slight pop song.
There's another version of that song, which was not released.
Yes, yeah.
Which is a really interesting version of it, a totally different version of it.
We've got to do something with that tied in with this at some point. Not necessarily now, but we should.
Well, it's a duet with Jane Siberry, who you might know.
Yeah.
Jane,
I don't know her.
A gorgeous person. We've toured with her loads of times, and we've become really close friends with her.
Yeah, I love her.
I mean, Jane's just one of the best songwriters I've ever come across. You know, all the beautiful, fantastic material that she's written. But you had heard this duet of that song, and it's just like either two sisters, a love affair between two sisters. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of really utter magic in you and her voice being slightly older than you being slightly younger than her, but both female relationship. There's all sorts of kind of possibilities entwined in that version of that song.
Yeah,
it's great.
I love Jane. I feel really honoured to have her on the track. Actually, I mean, that she wanted to do it, and that she really liked the track anyway. And
I take it you decided not to use it simply because the whole angle of the album changed, and it wouldn't have been appropriate for this album.
No, exactly, and this felt like it needed to be very much us. To have guests on it would have not. Her version is beautiful, and we will do something with it. I mean, we already had this version anyway done, and then we did a more stripped back version, which was piano and strings, with me and Jane singing it, which we will release at a later date, definitely. But yes, on the album, it wouldn't have sat as well with the journey.
No, I get that.
But the other version looks at the same story from a different camera angle, and it's really interesting.
This is what
to see the different angles of the same song.
This is what intrigues me. A song like that with two voices,
Yeah.
both agreeing that although obviously they've come to the conclusion we're going through the experience from a completely different direction, the experience is the same because we've all had
Yeah,
that
exactly.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Good stuff. And exclusive, yes.
Yes, it is exclusive.
Play it later. Sure,
You've got it. He's got the album. Oh, you Jane one. I'll send it to you. Yes.
Yeah.
When we recorded that, when we had the beat come in on the flugelhorn, it kind of like I always picture shooting a video for that track in New York. It feels like a New York kind of in a yellow taxi at the airport kind of leaving song. So when we get a big budget, we'll go and shoot that video.
Or go to a transport museum where there's a yellow taxi.
I really want to go to New York.
So I wrote this song. That's quite good. I like that. Next.
Good weather. Now this can be interpreted in a couple of different ways.
This was one of the latest songs we wrote.
It was last December. No, Violet was the last one.
Right.
But this was last December. And maybe on the surface people might hear it as like an anti-God song, and it definitely is not an anti-God song. I'm very spiritual. I don't sort of say that I follow a certain religion, but I do believe in more, so I'm not anti-God. Let's just get that out of the way. It's about that, again, it's almost like following a life that doesn't feel quite right to you, and when shit happens, you pray, like, we all get to the point where even if you don't believe in God, if you're going to lose somebody you love or things are going really to shit, you're going to pray, aren't you? You're going to think, please God, So it's kind of like a faithless pleading to God that we don't believe in, and we offer our souls in exchange for healing. Those are the lyrics of the first half of the chorus, and then saying we break our bones even though we need them, offer our blood even though we're bleeding. And again, that is we do so much to ourselves. We do so much to ourselves. Our lives probably, I'm not like judging anybody else, I'm actually speaking for myself here, that, we do so much harm to ourselves with our thoughts and the way that we allow ourselves to be treated sometimes. Nobody's treating me. I'm talking again about maybe what I do to myself. And observing other people as well, how much people hurt themselves, like they'll, the second verse starts with dancing feet don't fail me now, and I just have visions of a club and just, people just go and get absolutely plastered on a Saturday night, and there's still that sadness, and you're there and you're dancing, and it's like, just keep dancing and keep smiling and it'll be okay. But then you go home and you don't feel that way, even though everybody's pretending that they feel that way. Everybody's like, what a good night that was on Saturday, and then go home and feel really shit. And it's sort of about the emptiness of some things that we do.
I think it's the craving for some kind of happiness and fulfillment, but we're prepared to accept all sorts of fake costumes to wear in our lives, that we clothe ourselves in fake happiness and fake satisfaction and fake fulfillment in order to pretend that we feel okay about who we are, what we're doing, what our life's all about. You know, it's either possessions, it's money, it's, you know, bigger house, bigger car, bigger TV, you know, better job. You know, we just sort of we're like a bric-a-brac shop full of things that need to be bigger and bigger and bigger and shinier and shinier and shinier all the time.
But then you
and
realise
life becomes, it's just a shiny nothingness, isn't it? And when you strip away all the shininess, which I think that's about what Tom was trying to do, what are we? And you're back to who I am again, aren't you?
I think
So the next song, I guess that brings us to You and I, which is almost like what you were saying. It's like the cycle of life. It is almost like, I think it's the most light-hearted song on the album, to me anyway. And it again, we had fun with this one, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it is like the cycle of going through life together, the you and I bit, you know. I guess some of the lyrics are quite dark, so we won't go into that. I'm going to say that's the lightest song on the album.
Really?
Are you not?
I think it probably is, yeah.
But you're not sure it's that light, is that suggested?
Well, then when you look at some of the lyrics, and it's like, you know, said all there is to say, just let us lay our bones into the ground. Kind of like,
Okay, carry on.
I want to.
Go on.
You not read the small type?
No, go on. Carry on.
We ended up in space and lost the race, still screaming to the sound. It is kind of like it is a journey. It is like a little cycling thing, and everything still carries on afterwards. It's like we're like big echoes. They just keep going, like
Despite.
yeah, and
Life.
everything, yeah.
Despite life.
And
Life
then-
happens despite life.
Yeah. Still, you and I.
Oh, left to
Oh,
right.
left to right. Okay. Go on,
Well,
what is he here?
this is going to be the first single, and I guess this is our peace song. It is about how futile war is in all regards, and that even when people come out of war okay, they're never okay. Not really, not, you know, post-traumatic stress and all of this. It's, you know, our souls aren't meant to take that kind of hurt, I don't think. I think it's really, and after all this time from all the wars in the past, we just don't seem like we've learned enough that it doesn't fix things, because nothing's fixed. And it's about, you know, and we're still marching left to right, we're still going forwards, and part of it is like we're still going and we're trying to be positive, the left to right, but then another thing is we're still going forwards into this darkness when we know that, you know, it doesn't work. None of this war stuff works. It never has.
But it's not going to change. I mean, 1,000 years ago from today,
Well, let's
the world
hope
was
it
at war.
will.
1,000 years from today, I bet you we're still at war.
More, which I guess we were just saying then, which is, you know, we are more than this. We are more. We're more than our bodies. This is what I believe anyway. We're more than our bodies. We're more than our thoughts. We're more than even we know we are. Like, you know, we are the water that comes out of the tap. We're not just the tap. I suppose that's not saying, you know, saying the opposite of what you were saying before, but I think we're all part of this big stream of spirit, I guess. Yeah. I guess we are all part. We're all drops from the same ocean, but we're still the ocean, even though we're just a drop. I think that's what more is about.
Great.
We enjoyed recording that one a lot. We live, we're a bit limited because it's just the two of us, but on the album at the end we sort of go full on orchestra and electric guitars and wailing. It was really a lot of fun. It kept being extended. At first it was like 4 bars, and it was like,
That's over 8 bars. Yeah.
let's do some more. I just want to add electric guitar on this bit, and well, let's just add some more vocals to it then. What about omnichord? You know, so that kind of.
Well, the omnichord again.
It became more. The song really has become more on the album, hasn't it?
She tries to repress my use of the electric guitar.
I
in the
don't
studio.
at
She
all.
does
I
constantly.
don't at all.
That's what
I got a little bit in on that one.
So I said in the last review, when you're belting out Africa, and you're going like, oh, he's going for like Steve Harris, let the guys get a bit of metal on him, let's have a bit more of that, let him do it.
I don't
thank
stop
you,
him.
thank you.
I do not stop him at all. He's a liar.
Next.
Never do I.
Oh, I love this one. I love this one. I love performing this one. Probably one of the most. This one reminds me of the Hawkwind tour because it was kind of a brand new song when we just did it on the tour, and I enjoyed it every single night. I loved moving over to that side of the stage and getting ready for this one because it's such a great song to sing. I love singing this.
It is almost like looking for somebody to blame, this song. So like the first half of the verse is never do you, never do you, but then it turns to but never do I. So it is actually a lot of the stuff that happens is my fault. Not talking about us, it's always your fault with us. But the next one is Try. And I guess this is the poppiest song on the album by Miles, and he plays guitar on it. But this is the realization that even though you might want somebody else to save you, because it's like, will you try anyway, even though I'm not yours to save, are the lyrics. And it's sort of saying, gosh, I know it's up to me, but can somebody help me a bit because it's hard. And so that's basically what this song is about. Have you got anything else to say about Try?
No, carry on.
Did you enjoy playing guitar on Try?
Very much indeed. Yes, thank you for the
You even played like
authority.
slide guitar, didn't you?
Slide guitar on a Les Paul. Oh, it was every now and again I get one of the big guitars out and have fun. That would be. It's just a little moment towards the end, but I kind of look forward to it. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Very kind.
You're welcome. The next one is Violet, which is that was the last one to be added because that was only written in February, I think. Gosh, feels like a long time ago.
Does it feel
Yeah, that was written in February. And Violet almost feels like the, I guess, not the female version of Sebastian, but in a way it's like the other side of a relationship where where they actually go. So they're leaving, but they're saying they're coming back, and it's that quiet. I mean, we have shot a video for this in a beautiful old hall, Samsbury Hall, and it's like just a piano in a room with a fire, and the track feels like one of the most intimate ones on the album. We recorded it pretty much as we do it live, and it feels like a very honest feeling of, like when people, like if you split up with somebody or somebody goes out of your life, part of you wants to say, I'm okay, I'm going to do better now, my hair's going to look better because I'm going to have it cut and dye it a different colour and buy a new dress and I'm going to look great, and then you'll be sorry. But this song is almost like, actually I'm devastated, devastated, I just am.
Is it about your mum?
Partly, yes. Yeah.
You're not blaming her though, are you?
No, I'm not. Well, part of me wishes she
a-
hadn't left. Yeah, definitely. She should have stayed for me, totally. But no, I totally forgive her for going nearly. I really like the track. I like the production on it very much. Like I said, it's very simple, but your bow and guitar, and the guitar feels like it's like the undercurrent of what the words can't say. It's like this deep whale moving under a dark sea of the weight of emotion underneath it.
That's good.
Oh, thank you. But it does. It feels like when you hear the bow, and it's like, because in the studio obviously you can play it and play harmony and drop it an octave and things, and it's just like has this dark weight to it that it's like, oh yeah, that sound says more than.
Yeah. That's how music works. isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, that was a late edition. But
Yeah.
that's Violet.
And
finally, Another Lifetime, the final track.
This could be my favourite track.
Could it? But the others might be listening. So.
Yeah. We're all in this together, guys, don't we?
They were all leading to this song, weren't they? I guess this song is about the regrets and the dark and the light of us, and it'll be easy in another lifetime. You know, next time I'll get it right, because
I think this is the most joyful track on the album.
I do too.
It is. But this is what I'm saying. It's almost like you give yourself another chance, and it. But then again, call it joyful, but I felt really sad writing it.
Yeah, it is a sad song, but the music, especially at the end, is
It
joyful.
It is a movement. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and there is an awareness that you do get another chance. That you know, the energy that we are never, it goes away, doesn't die.
Yeah.
But it is that sort of, that accepting the human condition, going like, that there's obviously a better form of energy than being human. We know we're not perfect, but you know, we're learning how to be better next time. And you know, it's an anthem for living with pain to me. You know, it's like you need it to realise that there's parts that aren't as good as they could be about us, and one day the time will come when they are good enough, but it's no this time. It might not even be next time, but you always get another chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get the sadness as well, but the joy is far more overwhelming.
I think so.
I'm really pleased.
I'm pleased. I wanted the ending of this, you know, those where the orchestra comes in and those kind of descending triplets on the strings. I just wanted it to be the most exuberant joy that I could possibly invent, and I'm really pleased with it.
It is almost like the transition, isn't it? From
It is.
letting go,
It's going through the clouds and then seeing the
taking the
sunlight
veil
above
off,
the cloud. When you're flying and playing, it's like just going through that cloud base and